2024 is over, 2025 is here, and it's time to recap the very best games that I have played over the course of the year. Today, we're having a little look at upgrade games, incremental games, idle games, all smooshed into one video. However, if you're not interested in any of those genres that I just listed, well, you can check out all of the other videos that I've made over the festive period, linked down in the description and listed on screen right now. Before we get into the video all about upgrade games, however, I'd very much appreciate a comment down in the comments below. Let me know what types of videos you want to see on the channel over the course of 2025. Right, let's get to the games. Kicking off our list, we have got Widget Inc. Widget Inc. is a cross between a factory builder and an incremental clicker game. There's an absolutely huge tech tree which you have to explore, and you have to build widgets. Now, these widgets take a variety of different forms. They kind of look like fidget spinners in some instances, and they kind of look like other things in other instances. But at the end of the day, the point of widgets is that you build widgets and you use them to build more sort of complicated things, and use those complicated things to upgrade the tech tree and upgrade your factories and all of that sort of stuff. It's just a really interesting and unique take on the sort of incremental upgrade style game because it's combined with a factory builder. And you know what? It's a great deal as well. I mean, it's only $5 on Steam, and it's going to give you hours and hours of entertainment. All the more impressive because it was made by a single guy. I truly think that 2024 has been a breakout year for incremental upgrade games, and there's a whole bunch of fantastic entries on this list, which I'm going to talk about. But I think 2025 is going to be pretty good too. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, get subscribed so that you can stay up to date with all of these games. And in fact, I have made videos on all of these games, so you can check them out as well. Anyway, Widget Inc., check it out, link down in the description below. Excellent, unique take on the incremental upgrade game. Factory Town Idle, released into 1.0 right back at the start of 2024. Factory Town Idle is I guess an incremental upgrade game where you have to build up a town. If you've ever played Factory Town, you'll kind of know the basic premise for what this game is all about. Set in the sort of Factory Town extended universe, I suppose, you basically control every single little facet about this town, although it is presented in a way that allows you to upgrade sort of the production and extraction of each and every single element. For example, you can adjust how many people you have chopping trees or mining rocks. However, there's a limited number of rocks, so you need to dedicate resources to regrowing the rocks, and there's different areas in which you can get certain types of rock and certain types of iron and all of this sort of stuff. There's a whole bunch of different areas, and it's immensely sort of satisfying to click through all of the different menus and upgrade resources and make sure that you're producing enough planks in order to satisfy some of your requirements. And this game just has it all, and I honestly never thought that such a simplistic looking game could bring so much sort of satisfaction and pleasure. It's a really, really excellent entry into the genre, and again, it's $5, which is fantastic. There's also a demo available, so if you're on the fence about whether you want to check this one out, check out the demo. Oh, I also should have said, I've got a bunch of honorable mentions coming up as well. So I have 10 fantastic games that you can check out, but there's so many more honorable mentions. I have more honorable mentions in this video than I do in all of my other videos. So yeah, there's a lot of great games in the incremental upgrade genre this year. 64 is a stylistic clicker game where you have to extract these sort of colored cubes from the world, and you can get different types of colored cubes as you sort of progress through, and the value of them changes. This is a very sort of visually interesting upgrade game. And I say upgrade game carefully because I don't think it's technically a true idle game, but you can be the judge of that. Whatever the case, the style is absolutely fantastic. As the game progresses, you can automate more and more as you go, and the story kind of gets a little bit twisted, and it's all sort of set in this really strange world where you have interactions with someone on the other side of like a little chat box. Either way, the game progresses, you're able to automate things, you're able to get access to brand new buildings, you're able to do cool things that you never expected that you were able to do. I think we need more of these sort of style of games. These are, unique, interesting, experimental dives into a certain genre. And for me, 64 really sort of caps a year of very interesting style upgrade games. Released back in March of 2024. It's been out for a little while now. But yeah, still a very interesting one to check out if you're interested. You know those mobile game adverts that you occasionally see in front of YouTube videos, or, when you're scrolling through Twitter or whatever it is? Well, this game is kind of like those mobile adverts, except it is a full game, like a legitimately full game on Steam. The premise is kind of strange because you run a mining operation, but it's a mining operation that is conducted by moose or mooses. Either way, these mooses have got big tree chopping saws or stone chopping saws on the front of their faces, and then they carry carts and they effectively go and mine stones, which have a certain value, or they go and mine trees, which have a certain value, and then return those resources to a little sort of like train line. And you have to upgrade all of the sort of different components that make that process happen. Yeah, it's a really, really odd one, but it's actually ridiculously fun. It might not give you a huge amount of sort of playtime. I'm sure it'll give you enough playtime, but it might not give you enough sort of strategic depth if you're interested in something, that is going to last a long time. Something like Factory Town, for example. But the premise is really interesting, and I think that the developer is onto something really quite special with this, because this is a legit game, and it is legitimately very, very fun indeed. I almost wasn't going to mention this game, because this isn't really it is an incremental upgrade game. It is an idle game. It's definitely an idle game. But this is the normies, incremental upgrade game. This is Rusty's retirement, and this game absolutely blew up over the course of this year. Currently sitting on an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam with over 10,000 reviews. The premise for this one is quite simple. You go about your day-to-day life, and Rusty and his little farm sits on the bottom of your screen. And he just sort of farms, and he does his work as you do your work in the background. This game, as I say, went super mainstream. There's loads of content, hours and hours and hours of sort of perfect idle stuff for you to sort of watch happen in the background. Occasionally you have to interact with it, but, not super regularly. You're able to sort of upgrade and automate your farm. You're able to introduce Rusty to a few friends. It is a good game. I was joking earlier. It is a really good game, and I think it's a fantastic idle game. It's just probably not got the sort of strategic depth that you would be hoping for if you're interested in a more hardcore upgrade sort of style game. Either way, Rusty's Retirement is absolutely excellent, and it's also like $5 or $6. So check it out. It's on sale as part of the winter sale. So yeah, it's a really great sort of casual idle game. Another game that currently sits on an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam is Nodebuster. Nodebuster released in August of 2024, and this is a hard one to kind of explain. You control a targeting reticule, and you have to destroy nodes. What are nodes? They're kind of like little cubes that sort of float around. Either way, there's so much more to this game than just destroying nodes, as perhaps the name suggests. There's a whole bunch of different upgrades that you can get for your targeting reticule. There's a whole bunch of different sort of like levels. There's boss nodes. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on here. And honestly, I think you're probably best served jumping into this game with as little information as possible. If you're truly interested in sort of experimental, incremental upgrade games, then just go and play Nodebuster. You don't need me to tell you about it. Just go and play it. It's a couple of bucks on Steam. Like, literally, I think $3. So, huge game. Really enjoyed my time with it, and clearly the vast majority of people on Steam did as well. Idle Colony is all about big fruit and even bigger fun. This is a game all about combining and leveling up your fruit. You start off by just extracting one tier 1 fruit from a tree, and you need 2 tier 1 fruits in order to make a tier 2 fruit. And then you need 2 tier 2 fruits to make a tier 3 fruit, and etc, 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 all the way up to crazy numbers of fruits. There are, of course, a variety of upgrades that you can use to accelerate your fruit combining operation, which is grand. You can increase your tree spawn rate, you can increase your sort of like little duplicate carrying capacity, the whole shebang. In addition to sort of combining these fruits, you have to maintain this little colony, and this colony will provide workers for your fruit collecting operation. So it's important to make sure that you get the balance right. This is a classic sort of, you know, very, very colorful, very big number sort of idle upgrade game where you can just sort of very visually see that things are getting bigger and better and more impressive as time progresses. Really, really good fun time with this one. And there's also a demo that you can check out as well, so you can see if you have a feel for it. This is kind of an idle game, kind of an automation game, but I really enjoyed my time with it, and I think it's really unique, and I think it is worth talking about. This is Coin Factory, which is a game all about automating currency in a highly limited space. You need to try and upgrade your buildings, you need to try and maximize your space for profit. It's $5, it's on sale right now, and it's just really good. It's experimental, it's unique, it's independent. This is exactly the sort of, you know, style of incremental upgrade game that I want to see more of. There's like different levels, different buildings that you can explore, and it's all presented in this lovely sort of minimalist package. 2 thumbs up for me for Coin Factory. Moving right along to Journey to Incrementalia. Very interesting name of the game for this one. This is a peculiar sort of title released in October of 2024. It's an incremental game crossed with an auto-battler. Effectively, you are summoning an army of dead/undead creatures in order to try and tear down walls. You need to destroy 99 walls in order to get to Incrementalia. I have no idea where that place is or why the dead guy's going there, but hey ho, don't let the lore distract you from what is a really interesting sort of incremental upgrade game. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can sort of play it. You can upgrade your troops to do certain damage in certain categories. You can have a very sort of skeleton focused build. Skeletons deal a whole bunch of damage. You can get units that specifically spawn skeletons, or perhaps you can give yourself an archer build, or perhaps you want to do damage to the wall yourself, and instead you're just going to throw a whole bunch of bone spears at it, and the bone spears are going to do a lot of different, a lot of damage, and you're going to have a lot of modifiers on top of that. The possibilities are huge for a game like this, and there is a sort of an incremental sort of clicker element. You have to constantly replenish your mana. There are ways to automate that, of course, but overall, just a really sort of solid incremental upgrade experience. And for the final game on my list, before we get to the honorable mentions, by the way, there's a whole bunch of honorable mentions coming right up after this. The final game that I want to talk about is Unnamed Space Idle. This game technically came out in 2023. However, there's basically been a whole bunch of major updates that make it a totally new game. So that's why I'm including it on this list. Effectively, I covered this game in March of 2024, and without a doubt, this is my favorite game of the year. Since March, I have had this game open, or /played, however you define that, for almost 930 hours. And I can categorically assure you that, you know, there's very few games that I play on the channel and then continue to devote a huge amount of time to. This is, without a doubt, the standout upgrade game that I have played this year. What is so special about this one? Well, where to start? The premise is quite simple. You start with a basic spaceship, and over the course of the game, you are able to upgrade each and every element of your spaceship, including shields and weapons, but you're also able to unlock new systems. You're able to unlock a compute system. You're able to unlock a system that synthesizes upgrades and add on additional modules. You're able to unlock a warp drive, which will allow you to travel to different areas of space and destroy enemies and bring back unique and interesting upgrades. You're able to you're able to unlock a fleet and take the fight to different galaxies in order to get very specific upgrades. This game is about as pure upgrade incremental idle mechanics as you can possibly get. It is just so unbelievably fantastic, and it's in early access at the moment, but the developer is absolutely committed to expanding the scope of this game with every single update. It has kept me coming back time after time after time, and the absolute best thing about this game is that you can check it out for free right now. There is absolutely no reason not to have a look at this game because it costs you absolutely nothing. There are sort of optional purchases that you can make in the game. I have not bought a single thing, and I have had an absolute blast with this game. Unnamed Space Idol is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best game that I have played this year. It is my game of the year, purely because it is just so unbelievably excellent, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend this one if you're interested in checking out the genre. It is phenomenal. It is so, so, so good. Right, and with that, we get to the honorable mentions. However, before we do, have you left a comment letting me know what I should be playing on the channel over the course of this year? Of course you haven't, because very few people do. So take the time, please, let me know in the comments what you think I should be playing over the course of 2025. What sort of videos do you want to see? Let me know below. Anyway, let's get into the honorable mentions. If there is one additional game that I could have had on this list, it is Digseum. Digseum is an incremental upgrade game about making the most sort of pleasant museum that you possibly can. And to do that, you have to undertake some excavations and some archaeology. You have to travel to different locations. You have to find some different artifacts. You have to take these artifacts back to the museum, and you have to effectively try and upgrade your museum as much as possible to ensure that a whole bunch of people come and visit. As I say, if there was one extra game that I could have added to the list, it would be Digseum, because the quality is unbelievably high, the premise is brilliant, and it's a very simple game, but it's a very enjoyable game nonetheless. Incremental Factory. The name kind of gives the game away for this one, but seriously, this is a really interesting approach to a factory builder crossed with an idle game. You're basically playing a game of micromanagement and also macromanagement, as you effectively build nodes or factories that are capable of containing entire production chains, and you need to make sure that you make an appropriate amount of these production chains, and you link them all together. And at the same time, you're also sort of combining this with the mission to try and get deeper into the world, which means you need sort of specific tech to do this, and you need to defend your drill as you go down. It's a bit of a learning curve for this one, but it's a pretty unique take on the genre, so give it a look if you're interested. Two very similar games that I want to talk about, perhaps in the same breath. But firstly, we've got Ad Fundum, which effectively is a game all about controlling a giant mech underground. You go on an adventure in a diesel punk world. You're able to collect sort of minerals, upgrade your mech, explore for longer, and mine faster. All of that sort of thing. It's just a really sort of good execution, and you can check out the demo, which is available, obviously, for free, which is pretty darned nice. The second game that is still very similar, I suppose, in theming is Super Mining Mechs. Super Mining Mechs is actually the sequel to Mining Mechs. Super Mining Mechs, basically the same sort of premise, where you go on an underground adventure, you drill for resources, you have to upgrade different sort of bits of your mech. There's sort of unique differences between both games. However, I would strongly recommend both games. I think they're both really, really good. I think they're both sort of stand out in the sort of like mining idle sort of genre. They're maybe not super idle, or maybe not as idle as some of the other games on this list, but they're both definitely sort of upgrade games, incremental upgrade games. I really enjoyed Super Mining Mechs. I think it's a significant elevation over the original Mining Mechs. There's different places to go to, different resources to explore, and just a generally sort of more polished and more finished experience. I really enjoyed both Ad Fundum and Super Mining Mechs this year. This is another game that you can check out for free right now, and this is CivIdle. CivIdle is in early access, released in February of 2024. I would describe this one as a highly minimalist city builder, where effectively you're building all of the resources that you need to, run a civilization, but you're doing so in a sort of 2D world, and you're doing it with a lot of information at your fingertips, but you're doing it in a way where it kind of looks awful. I mean, it does look really brutal, but don't let that sort of detract from the game. Believe it or not, it's actually an MMO. There's other people playing at the same time, which is kind of crazy. Pretty unique and interesting concept for a game. Just not quite there in terms of being my favorite this year. However, again, you can check it out for free, and if you're interested, then you should just do so. Deep Space Cache is a short, simple, incremental game all about destroying asteroids and mining a few resources. Released in November of 2024. It's a good game with a pretty extensive upgrade tree. The only problem is that it did sort of feel a little bit formulaic, especially in a year where we had the release of the excellent Nodebuster game. I think it just sort of feels a little bit too similar to that for me. However, the game is priced at $1 on Steam, so you can check it out and make your own mind up, because there's pretty much no risk involved with picking this one up. And absolutely last on the list, but for good reason, I'm going to manage to try and shoehorn the Gnorp Apologue. I still don't even... The Gnorp Apologue? Whatever, who knows? This is such a great game. It actually released in 2023. However, it released all the way back in December of 2023. So by that very twisted logic, I'm adding it to this list as an honorable mention, purely because it is so unbelievably excellent. The story, the premise, the theming, the design, the fact that you're just able to upgrade and have big numbers, and it's so colorful, and it's just a phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, let this be a sign. Let this be a sign to go and check it out if you missed this one last year, because it is just so darned good. And so with that, my last recap video of 2024 is over. What do you think? Let me know right in the comments down below, alongside that comment where you clearly told me what type of video you want to see on the channel. I'm sure lots of people have done that. Thank you very much in advance. Yeah, what do you think of the list? What do you think of the upgrade games that I played on the channel this year? Have I missed anything? Has it indeed been a good year? Has it been a bad year? I think it's been a great year, but that is just me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, all that remains for me to say is to wish you a very, very, very happy new year. I hope 2025 is an excellent, excellent year for you. And I will catch you in the next video.